Hello everyone. Welcome to another video from the Creator Metaphysical Store. So today we are going to be talking about the goddess Hestia. Now, I know people like, what about Zeus? What about Poseidon? But first, hold up. We're going to talk about Hestia because she is the hearth. She's like the heartstone of the family of the Olympian gods. So I am going to read some stuff from what I've done my research on. So here, this will be 12 episodes, and then we're going to do the 13th video for Hecate because 13 is a witchy number. Plus, gotta save the best for last. You know, I've Hestia and Hecate. They're my girls. That's just saying. Like, I just gotta say they're awesome. I mean, all the guys and goddesses are awesome, but it's like I've worked with them very closely, so it's like we're tight. Anyway, so Hestia is the Greek in Greek religion was considered the goddess of the hearth. She was considered to be the daughter of Kronos and Rhea, and she is one of the 12 Olympian deities. Now, according to mythology, when the gods Apollo and Poseidon became suitors for her hand, she swore to remain a maiden forever. Whereupon Zeus, the king of the gods, and I'm looking down because I'm reading from my phone, okay? Or actually, I can probably do this. So, whereupon Zeus, the king of the gods, bestowed upon her the honor of presiding over all sacrifices. She was worshipped chiefly as goddess of the family hearth, but as the city union was usually the family union on a large scale, she had at least in some states a public cult at the civic hearth in the Prytaneon. Prytaneon, I hope I'm saying it right, or also referred to as the town hall. Hestia was closely connected with Zeus, the god of the family, in its external relations of hospitality and its internal unity. She was associated with Hermes. The two represent the domestic life on the one hand and the business and outdoor life on the other. In later philosophy, Hestia became the hearth goddess of the universe. Now, I will say this much. I don't think people know much about this aspect of her, but she's also the goddess of miracles. I've asked her for a miracle or two. Now, I will say there are some things that you can do to honor Hestia, one girl, Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. Now, if you're looking for a big offering, like an offering of get like a small lump sum or something, I'd recommend giving her 3 cow tongues. Of course, cook them, season them. I tend to notice that she does like spicy food, but she also, as far as desserts go, I've seen her really. I've made homemade ice cream, so there might be a different preference, but I've made an almond with almond milk and almond creamer. I've made with lavender and vanilla extract. I've added those together, and she seemed to really like that. Now, I don't know. I have not looked into the herbs, but I can tell you that suitable offerings, if you're working with the Greek gods, be aware that the Greek gods do not give out free handouts. They are gods, after all, and they do not claim to be human. They do not claim to be very benevolent. or destructive. They can be whatever they feel like they want to be. And I'm saying this because don't expect them to like help you if you don't give something in return. You know, it's a equal. It's like alchemy, equivalent energy exchange. That's what these offerings are for, not only to give honor and respect, but also to give an equivalent energy exchange. Because I agree with Hestia when it comes to this. It'd be like, she said to me one time, I wouldn't want to help keep your home protected or whatnot if I don't have at least something given to me on a daily basis. Like a candle being lit every day to honor me in my presence, or if you're asking for wealth to come into your home, like a lump sum of a couple thousand, of course she's gonna ask for a few pieces of steak and maybe some grains on the side. I mean, they gotta eat too. They gotta eat too, and I'm just saying. So like, it's like, Why do like? If nothing is free in the universe, there's always a give and a take. For just as life being born, death happens simultaneously in order to have new life to be brought into the universe. And that's what people don't understand. The cycle of life and death have nothing to do with reincarnation. But we'll get into that in another video. So the goddess Hestia, proper offerings. If I've noticed that she likes cow products, so beef, steaks, beef sirloins to pork. She does. Pork is also another suitable offering for her as well. And chicken. I don't really think I never worked with turkey though with her, but I feel like the main three meat offerings that you could give her, which would basically put her over the moon because she loves her steaks. I mean, I've seen this girl. She loves her beef. I mean, I'm telling you. And then if she can't get the beef, it's that pork and that chicken. Like, and I have to be with her on that one, especially that fried chicken. And so I do plan to cook some meals for me and Hestia and for some other gods and goddesses once I get paid, of course. But I would recommend, if you do not feel comfortable leaving a plate of food out for her, you're more than welcome to get a candle. Let me just put this on the charger really quick. You're more than welcome to get a candle, write her symbol, which I will now show you her symbol, just so you guys know. Her symbol is this symbol here. Now, I feel like this more towards the Roman aspect, but this is the symbol. Now, you could put, if you wanted to add more of a aspect to this, you could do something more realistic, like so, and to represent the aspects of fire. So you could do something where it looks like an actual flame, or you could also here, just so you got a good look. I use this symbol a lot, especially if I'm wanting to invoke growth. So it looks like sort of like a flower, but also a fire. So I do use this a lot, and then I put my petition at the bottom here. Or I do a symbol, and I'm going to use another sheet of paper just to be on. Actually, I'll use this side. Where I've done a simple, what is the alchemical symbol? It's like the alchemical symbol for fire inside instead. So if you're not good at drawing fire, you could use the alchemical representation for fire. Now this is the symbol for Hestia. Let me just show you one more time. With the Now this is a oblong shape. Now you can find this symbol on the internet. Okay, just want to let you guys know you can find this symbol on the internet on Google Images. I know it's not perfect, but that is her symbol. I'm gonna raise it up one more time, and then I'll also show you on this side the symbol that I use. Now it's the same symbol, but I've added a flower with a spiral to represent the flame, the growing fire, to grow my hearth, right? Now, if you don't necessarily have a fireplace, that you could use this and paint it on a piece of paper, or I've actually have a space for her on an altar on a bookshelf where I painted her symbol on it. That's something that you can do. Okay. And one of the things I'd recommend is to always have a candle lit. I've noticed as I've kept a candle burning, I've used the big, thick pillar candles because it gives me plenty of room to write down my intentions, what I'm asking from her, and then I put herbs and crystals that match my intention and put my own magic into the candle as well. And then what I end up doing is I make wine for the different gods and goddesses. I actually just made some wine, just finished procuring to my liking, and I've actually given her the first bottle. So, for example, if you're having dinner, you could set an extra plate of food aside for her. Now, it's whatever you're cooking. It could be noodles and some, it could be like eggs and grits and bacon, right? As long as she gets the first of the food. Now, that's if you are okay with doing that. Now, mind you, these offerings do not have to stay like. Hold on. Of his. Okay. Now, here are a few things, a few um, examples. I'm going to give you 3 different rituals that you guys can do. So it says here Hestia. So this is for the invocation for the goddess Hestia. I call to Hestia, O gentle one, heart of the home, honor daughter of the mighty Kronos and fair Rhea, as first and last born of those ancient Titans. You take of all first and final offerings. Peace, loving goddess, tender of Olympus's flame. In tranquil pursuit, you take pleasure, Hestia, in the arts of the home. We find you in a warm fire and a full larder, in a generous spirit and a soft voice. Goddess, in every house you hold safe the most profound of intimacies, the substance of family, the essence of society, each home a safe haven, each hearthside your temple, each flame, each meal, each child tucked into bed, a prayer of gratitude to you. Dear goddess Hestia, firm-willed one, kind-hearted one, I call to you. Now that is a very well put ritual that I will add to my Hestia section. Now here is another one that you can also use. This one is given by Obsidian Magazine. Now, I don't sponsor Obsidian Magazine, but I do love what they have to say about Hestia. Now, this is by Symbios. Okay? Again, I don't represent Symbios. I do like her work. And I'll read what she says, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Hestia is not one of the better-known goddess Greek deities, in part because there was no popular mythology written about her. While Hestia may be somewhat obscured, most readers are well aware of her Roman counterpart, the goddess Vesta, who was tended by the famed Vestal virgins, charged with maintaining the eternal flame burning at Roman's center. Like Vesta, Hestia was both the goddess and the protector of the hearth, and home. She represented the fire burning at the center of the earth and maintained the fire at the center of Olympus. At the symbolic center of every Greek town, the public hearth or prytaneum, an altar was made to her. She was held in such high esteem that the first portion of sacrifice were offered to her, as were the first and last libations at festivals. One is tempted to conjecture that she was not included in popular literature of the time because she was simply too sacred to be spoken of mundanely. The rite of Hestia relies on the technique of focus on the images and name of a deity in order to contact the spirit and power of that deity. This mode of worship is considered unfashionable or arrogant by some these days, but the fact remains that this has been used across the world for millennia and is highly effective. Ordinarily, the focus of the adoration is on a cultic statue of the deity or priest/priestess who serves as a channel. In this instance, though a fire placed at the center of the circle is is what is invoked on. This is in keeping with the ancient Greek belief that Hestia was literally the fire burning in the heart. Wherever there was fire, Hestia was thought to dwell, and her power is made available when her sacred fire is tended. We have experienced over the years with the safest way to have a impressive central fire without burning the house down. The easiest method we have found is to place a clean 1 to 14 ounce can in cauldron. Pour sand around the can until it fills the cauldron almost to the top of the can, then pour grain ethanol or isopropanol, which is rubbing alcohol, into the can until it is half full. The sand around the can serves to insulate the cauldron. If you burn alcohol in a bare cauldron, the cauldron becomes too hot to handle, and the rate of combustion becomes very fierce. This might be fine outdoors, but for obvious reasons is problematic indoors. Um, the long thing. So apparently, you should experiment beforehand by burning different amounts of ethanol while timing how long each flame lasts. This way, you can tailor the length of the burn to the expected length of the ritual. The purpose of this ritual is purification. This is accomplished in several steps. Before the ritual, each participant writes down his or her single most pressing difficulty on a piece of paper. This is later burned in the fire of hestia in keeping with the old belief that prayers and requests are carried to the gods on the smoke of the altar fire. This is also variations of spellworking in which one releases a problem by destroying its representation. In this instance, however, the participants are asked specifically for divine intervention as well. Once this portion of the ritual is completed, all in the circle are ritualistically cleansed with water and incense to prepare them to follow up in the physical world what they have requested of Hestia. This is to be emphasized by the final prayer, in which her aid and blessing is again requested. Properly performed, the ritual allows deep communion with the spiritual essence of fire on the divine level. It also confirms a sense of renewed purity and vitality. Be aware that this is not an elemental working, and thus one should not expect devic contact. We do recommend that the participants carefully consider what they wish to purify or banish from their lives. Consider the ramifications of what complete loss of what you have written would be. As some past participants have reported these losses to be extensive, also be open to the manner in which that loss will manifest, particularly in spiritual matters. The invocation and text in this ritual are a combination of the original writing and materials borrowed from the Alexandrian Book of Shadows, the rituals of the Golden Dawn, and the works of Aleister Crowley. We hope you find the right rewarding and welcome hearing about your experiences. Okay, so it says here a central altar containing the cauldron with ethanol, the censer with incense, bowl of water, cakes, and wine should be placed at the center of the room. All participants gather in a comfortable circle around the central altar. One priestess should stand at each of the cardinal points. The high priestess and the priestess of Hestia should also be stand in the east. The circle is cast by whatever rite the participants favored. The reverence and solemnity. The priestess then individually read the following passages. Okay, so here is the actual rite. Now, I would love one day in the future, I would like to one day build a coven on my property. And this is something that eventually I will have, and will have fellow, like, people that when you open a coven or to create a space, when you create a space for witches to gather and you form your own coven, I hold that to be very sacred. And as the goddess Hecate and Hestia have taught me, I will always hold each and every coven member with honor and respect, and I will be a wise and fair leader. I don't want to just believe one side or the other. If someone comes to me with a problem with say another coven member, I won't just pussyfoot. I will ask them to and cordially invite them to my home in regards to this complaint, and we will have this sorted out. Like I'm very. I feel like I could be a very fair and wise coven leader. But I'm at a point in my life where I'm still trying to get the house set up, and I do see that happening. It's just going to take time to get there, but I'm super excited about it. So, um, but I've always wanted to do a ritual with 4 different witches or wizards, whatever you want to call it, to represent the aspects of fire, water, earth, and air, and then me being in the center. And then I have them do the rite of the 4 elements, I the fifth, in the light of Hestia, And then I always wanted to do a ritual like this. So I was super excited because I know a lot about Hestia and Hecate and all the gods and goddesses, but I can't wait for it to happen. But here is the rite. So this is something I'll be excited to do. Let me open this browser. And then add this to bookmark this. Okay. So here is the ritual. Today we stand at the midpoint of winter, between solstice and equinox. Yet the darkest time of the year is over, and the spring is in the belly of winter. Thus we must prepare ourselves for new beginnings. The holly, ivy, pine of Yule, now faded, must be gathered and burnt. Our dwellings must be cleaned, and the tools of planting prepared. So it must be with our bodies and spirits as well. Today is Brigid Imbolc, Condomas, the Lupercalia, the great festival of fire which we dedicate to thee, goddess whose name means fire. Hestia, eldest daughter of the ancestral Rhea. Hestia, whose fire burns at the center of Olympus, burns at the hearth, the center of the home, and burns in the soul. Hestia, whose fire purifies all that it touches. This is the time of purification before the dawning of the new light. We must purge ourselves of all dark deeds and thoughts, that no fear or imbalance may taint our sowings. Friends, think for a moment of what you have written, of that which darkens your lives, and prepare to cast it into the cleansing fires of Hestia. It says here, after a suitable pause, the priestess of Hestia lights the cauldron, all invoke toward the center of the altar. And so I think this is the invocation. Eldest of the Olympians, most venerated and beloved, ever virgin, unchanged, and unchangeable, guardian of the innermost things, eternally preserving the faith of nations, seated in the midst of the halls of the heavens, receiving the first and last libations, partaking of the richest of sacrifice. Each candle is a prayer to thee. Each lamp is a hymn to thee. Each hearth an altar to thee. Look with favor upon the fires of this temple. Bless us with your presence here. Hestia, 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 come here to our hearth. Come here to our home. Come here to our dwelling. Come here to this space. And it says here, one by one, all place their pieces of paper in the cauldron. When all have been burnt, all pray facing the central altar. I'm assuming the where the fire is in the center. And this is I guess the next part. It says, "Great goddess, purify us with your holy power, banish guilt forever, and show us new ways of understanding. Let the dust of journeys fall from our bodies. Cleansed let us be, and pure again. Hestia, Hestia, Hestia." And then it says here, all quietly commune with the flame as the priestess of the north takes up the purificatory waters and say, I see people using either a peacock feather or something to do it, but I'm also seeing you could do it with your hands. Come in. It says, "O blessed altar where you are cast, let no evil or adverse purpose last. Hear my will, attend to me. At my word, so mote it be. Be cleansed and pured again. I purify with water." Let me see who's at the door, guys, and I'll come back. Hold on. Coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Except the door's open. No? Oh. I'm in the middle of a live stream, but you can start sweep and then yeah. Okay, so just had to answer the door. So she says, it says here, she then purifies each person, saying, "Purify with water," and then it says, the high priestess then takes up the incense and says this. "O blessed fire, where your vapors lead, bring health and wealth and joyful deeds. Hear my will, attend to me, at my word, so mote it be. Be ye blessed and whole again." And it says here, the priestess senses each person saying, "I consecrate with fire." And then it says, when completed, all again face the central altar and pray. Says, so this is the prayer. "Grant us, we pray, Almighty One, a peaceful season of progression. Let us perceive fresh light upon our paths, and follow this with faith. Throughout thy plans for our perfection, great goddess, give us thy benediction. Pour on us thy ethereal flame, till our faces shine with thy light reflected, till our brows gleam with tiny starry symbols, till our voices reach the ineffable, till all our ways glitter with thy holy influence. Sing the chant of illumination, that we might find the light to bring us thy tongues of rapture, that our spirits may blaze forth, bring us to the light, into life, and to love. Hestia, Hestia, Hestia." And then it says, the priestess bring forth, the priestess then bring forth the cakes and the wine. The priestess of Hestia consecrates each with fire, saying, "In the name of Hestia, I bless thee and consecrate thee through fire." And then it says, the cakes are then passed de also around the circle. And the priestess of Hestia says, "As long as hearth fire burns, the blessing of Hestia is upon us. Praise Hestia." And I'll respond saying, "She deserves praise. Praise Hestia." And then it says, "Our rights are other." It says here, "Other rights are desired. Dismiss the watchtowers and close the circle as usual." So I guess it's saying that if other rights are desired, you should basically dismiss the watchers and then close the circle as usual. Then so that's the ritual. I think this is very well put. I really do. I feel that only thing I would add is because incense is part smoke and part fire, and it's made from different resins from different plants. I would be like, I would have added like, I would have prayed over the incense to the priestess would silently pray to the incense, invoking the plant spirit of that particular plant. Say it's Nag Champa, invoking the Nag Champa flower, or if it says lotus, invoking the lotus spirit, and then also invoking while saying, you say that you're cleansed in fire. I consecrate with fire and with air. I would say that instead of just fire because um, your incense apart, it's burning on fire, but it's also it's giving off smoke. So I would have done air. Now, I would have also, where it says here, where it talks about, and I think this is in the beginning. So it says here, the priestess then individually read the following passages. And so this is like the beginning where it says thus we must prepare ourselves for new beginnings. The holly, ivy, and pine of Yule. I would have, and then it says must be gathered and burnt. For me personally, I would have, if say you have holly trees and holly bush, I would gather a bushel of the holly, of the ivy, of the pine nettles that are on the ground, and I would burn those gathering those. Not don't just chop down the tree or anything, because you could use them for other things, but just gather a portion of it and put it in the flame to represent as though you're gathering it and then burning it. And it says our dwellings must be cleaned, the tools of planting prepared. So it's like after the ritual is done, I would have asked that if there anyone, say it's like the temple, like after we've done this ritual, I would have had the temple to be cleaned. Or if we all live on the same property, that we go to our respective housings and we help each other clean each other's homes. So friends and family helping each other cleaning the dwelling. So that's also doing further preparation. And then if you have a garden, you should of course sharpen your tools and stuff. So I think that's also an act of embodying this ritual even further after you've done the ritual. And so that's what I would definitely suggest, and that's my thoughts on this. Now I think that ritual is very powerful. I could feel the spirit, for sure. I don't think a third ritual reference is required, but I think if you guys are open to it, we can definitely look at a third ritual for the goddess Hestia. And here is, this one's by Llewellyn.com. It says, here, February 18th, 2000. Okay. So it says here, midwinter is a time when pantries are emptying out. It is a time to invoke Hestia, the Greek goddess of the hearth and home, the keeper of reserves. Take stock of the home and the hearth and what's needed for comfort, protection, and nourishment. It's cold outside and time to create warmth within. Cook hot oatmeal, invoke Hestia as the oatmeal warms you warmed you, be with Hestia. And it says here, I guess this is like the invocation says, Hestia, make this house a home, a sanctuary to all who enter. Bless this doorstep, all who cross. Come in peace. Bless this home, family, and friends feel welcomed and nurtured. Bless this kitchen, the spiritual heart of this home. Bless this stove, warm creator of nourishment for body and soul. And bless this pantry, with reserve to see us all through winter, warmth to provide comfort and respite from the outside world. And let your sweet spirit come to warm us within. Blessed be Hestia. So that is the invocation for that one. So I think they're all pretty beautiful. They're super beautiful, and I will definitely write them down in the altar space. I mean, the grimoire that I have. So this is here. So overall, I like as many of you have seen throughout this video. She's the goddess of the hearth. I would recommend if you do have a fireplace, definitely have a fire going. I eventually want to get to a point where I can keep a fire lit 24/7. I want to have that ability to do that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Overall, here are some recommendations from my own personal experience. I recommend if you're working with the goddess Hestia, make sure to have a candle burning. You're more than welcome to engrave the symbols I've shown you for the goddess Hestia in the candle. That way it's charged to her energy and she knows it's from you to her. Offerings that you can give to her is crystals. I've used crystals and substitutes for different energies, and I've actually charged them with energy for her as an equal exchange offering. There have been times where I've given herbs and spices as an offering. Now, if you're looking for larger miracles, like say winning like a small lump sum, say like $500, right? I'd recommend cooking 3 cow tongues or making like a beef stew. Make a beef stew, and that would be a bowl for her, a large bowl for her, and you could leave that out while you're cooking that. While you're eating, you just set her the first bowl, and then I don't recommend leaving the offerings for more than a day. Now, I personally leave it for 3 days because I do work with the energies of 3, 6, 9. Then I throw that out. Now, if I just leave fruits and vegetables, raw fruits and vegetables, and there for 3 days, and if I feel like I can use them to make a wine specifically for Hestia, boom, there you go. You can do that. Because I've often we used offerings from different fruits and vegetables and recreated them in the form of wine for the different gods and goddesses. Now, mind you, offerings are like an equivalent exchange. So if you ask something from her, she's most like, and if you don't give an offering, it's like she'll have to use the energy from something else. So she might end up taking something from you, like maybe you just got a brand new car and then all of a sudden, boom, it gets in a car crash and you ask for the miracle to obtain this money, right? Well, you get the money, but then something breaks in your home because you took the money that would have been for that broken, let's just say it's a broken pipe, right? You would have, instead of having that money for that broken pipe, you asked for the money for that broken car that you needed to fix, right? So be mindful that these offerings are both honor and respect to these divine aspects. Some people call it God, creator, whatever you want to call it, okay? But it's also a way for it to act as an equivalent exchange for you. Overall, that's overall what I have to say for the goddess Hestia. I'd like to end this by delivering to you guys two of my stories that one just happened today and one just happened back in 2021. I want to say February, March, April. I want to say April of 2021. Okay. Now, my first one, I'm going to start with the first one, which is when I knew she was real. Like, okay, so I was being falsely accused of crimes I did not commit and falsely imprisoned. Okay. And I had, they considered me incompetent. Now, mind you, they thought I was kooky, partly because I was doing my rituals. I was using their mustard and ketchup. Hey, look, I'm a witch. Okay, I'm gonna draw my symbols for my own protection. Okay, I don't care if you judge me, but when a witch gotta do her magic, she's gonna find a way to do her magic. She's gonna get things done. Okay. Now there have been times where I was stuck in the bubble and I made this this seal, and it was really complex, and I used mustard and ketchup to represent things, and all that is good, right? So I think they thought I was crazy because I was doing my magic thing. Now I don't recommend you doing this if you what you call it, if you be if you didn't want to think if you don't want people to think you're crazy when you're doing this. Now, I personally was doing it because of my belief, right? Now, so I think partly to the fact that they thought I was crazy because I was practicing my belief, and that's why, um, but I was declared incompetent, stayed in this place called Circus of Care, like a psychiatric hospital. And then I was being sent back to jail that same day, right? And I had found a channeler there at the psychiatric hospital. I knew he was a channeler, but he didn't know what his gifts were. So I was trying to tell him, teaching him how to learn how to be a channeler. And I asked him, I'm going to invoke Hecate, and once you feel her, let her come through. So I invoked Hecate, and she came through, and then she was like, oh, let me connect you to the goddess of miracles, Hestia. Like, got you, right? So she shifted, and Hestia came forward and was like, what do you want? I said, look, I'm being falsely accused of crimes I did not commit. I'm being falsely imprisoned and falsely accused of crimes I did not commit. Like, please, what can I do? Can you help me drop these charges? And she said, do you have a cow's head or, like cow offering? Like, oh, I don't have that. Can I do like herbs and spices? And I said, I promise you, when I get out of jail, I'm going to be cooking you 3 pieces of chicken legs, and we good. She said, okay, she'll see what she could do. So I left like lettuce, which is herb, and salt and pepper with herbs and spice. And I said, I prayed to the goddess Hestia. I was like, Hestia, this is for you. Please do your magic, do your thing. So then it was after lunch. I go back to the jail, right? And they're processing me in for re-entry, right? And then I get a knock on my door, and I was like, okay, look, I know last time I was here, God, that you sent me here to put the seeds of light, do my energy work for God, for y'all, and to awaken people's souls. And if I'm supposed to go back in here, okay, but I'm not gonna like it. I'll be honest. I don't want to go back here. But if it is your will, let your will. What's that phrase home? What is when Jesus said, let thy will be done and not my will, right? Am I right? When Jesus prayed to God, he said, let thy will be done and not my will, right? It was something along
like that.
Something like that. Right. So something like that. So I was like, yo, I leave it up to y'all, let thy will be done. Let not my will be done. Let y'all will be done. And just like it was just a few, it was like 3 seconds, and I heard a knock. And then I turn around and they're like, oh, they decided no proms. I'm like, what does that mean? And they said, meaning they dropped the charges. So I was like, oh, okay. And right then and there, I bent on my knees, like, look, Hestia, I will honor you. I will respect you. Like, you pulled through. So I don't like worshiping deities unless they show results. Like, I have to know, like, you have to show me you exist. Because if you don't give me kind of like a give and a take, then man, it ain't no go. Like, I ain't like that. But she pulled through. Now, recently, the second one was dealing with the Social Security Administration, and they were going to take my SSI away. Well, today I made sure to record the date and time and everything. But they it's so funny. I pray to her, and it was like, Hestia, please, I asked for the miracle of getting my SSI income reinstated today, you know, and I'm asking you to have this, give me this miracle. And then she was, meanwhile, I'm on hold waiting for the lady to get back to me. And then she said, oh, your caseworker, Karen Curry, is said she's going to reinstate your funds today, da da da. I'm like, bruh, like, so what I did was I've been having this wine procured forever, right? And it's been 3 months. How long has that been sitting there? I made that in June. So I want to say, yeah, 3 months. It's exactly 3 months. It's August, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, it's 3 months. It's close to 3 months. I would say I started it on June 18th. So we're already we're pretty much there. Um, so I felt like when I gave her the bottle and I put it on the altar, I felt this hand on my head, and then I felt this hand on my shoulder, and I heard the words, thank you. It was like a soft, sweet voice. It was beautiful. Like, she said, thank you so much. And I was like, oh, and I smiled. It was like, and I had to you, it's nothing, girlfriend, I got you, boo. But it's like, the goddess Hestia is one that I would recommend to always have in your corner, because shoot, if she ain't in your corner, you best get her in your corner, because she's the goddess of the home, and I'm sure just as she can give us a place to sleep and eat and have comfort, she can just as easily take that bitch away. Just saying. Now, I feel like this was a test from the universe. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was angry. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I thought we had a contract in place, because I remember making a contract with Hestia. We agreed, and it was not just only sworn by Hestia, but all the different beings I work with. I made them all sign it, and etherically, so to speak, where they agreed that I would never ever be homeless. Well, if I was to lose these finances, I would be homeless right now. So I feel like they were doing their part to keep me from being homeless, but at the same time, though, I was also doing my part to do my thing to get it going on the physical. So like, I feel though that I feel like it was only fair to give her the first offering. I mean, obviously the first offering and everything, but like still I think I feel like she was very grateful. And so I want you guys to know that she is an amazing goddess to work with. And she's also the goddess of miracles. Now, I do have a suggestion though. I see you want like a couple $100, I would recommend using cow tongue or beef stew. She loves beef, like anything beef. She loves that. I mean, I'm telling you, if you think a wolf or a dog be biting that cow, she be on it like faster than them. She loves her beef, and I know that pork is her second favorite, and chicken is her third favorite, because I've seen it. I felt her like, she be eating good for me. I know I make that good stuff. So anyway, peace out, love to all of you beautiful souls out there. Kisses, hugs, and loves to all of you beautiful, amazing souls. Know that you're powerful shamans, warriors, healers, you're all that in a bag of chips. And also, look forward to these It's going to be 13 episodes for the 13 Olympian gods. Technically, there are 12, but there's also a 13th video specifically for Hecate. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I am going to end this live stream and then prepare to do the Hestia ritual, which I will do for you guys as well. So, kisses, hugs, and loves to all of you beautiful souls. Magical blessings. Bye for now. Was that too fast?
It's very, like, you know what you're doing.